All right. So I just wanted to tell you that this is all your fault and kind of walk you through what I've been up to tonight because of the idea you gave me today. So after I thought a little bit about it and I put up that picture of the triangle on Google Earth that I sent you earlier, I wanted to figure out exactly how well this antenna would work. And so what I did was when I drew this, when you draw these lines, it tells you how long they are as you draw them. So I just kind of recorded how long each line was as I went along, wrote those values down to try and figure out, how long the actual antenna would be and then how long each leg would be. And there's this software called MMA Gal that you can use to model your antenna. And so what I did was get those lengths and model the antenna, which led to a really fun thing. So when you're going to model an antenna, you need to tell it where to put it. And so as you can see, I've got the z-axis here. I've just basically got it up 10 meters up in the air because I figure that's about how high my roof is from the backyard. And then assuming I can get that high in the trees, we'll see. But, I have the legs of all these legs, and one of them is really easy, right? You just run along the x-axis. So I took my first wire length, which is like 18 meters, and went from the origin to 18 meters out. But then finding this point was a little bit more difficult because I didn't have any angles, and that's where I learned all about oblique triangles and this law of cosines. And so spent a bunch of time figuring out what the angle C here is so that I could then figure out how far back on the x-axis this would go. And so, yeah, essentially did all the math, figured out that, it'd be up about 16 and a half meters and back about 4 meters from the origin, which let me come into the software here and actually enter in the information it needs. So this is actually, it's not quite as complicated as you might think. It's essentially point 1 to point 2, and then it's the diameter of your wire. And then you can have different segments set up. That's for something a little more complicated we can ignore. But again, I just assumed my antenna would be uniformly about 30 feet in the air. And then obviously start at the origin, go out 18 meters, and I don't go anywhere on the y-axis. Then I go from that point, from 1804.0 to that point that I had to calculate all the stuff for, and then I go from that point back to the origin, and that gets me my antenna. So once I did that, I had to tell it where to feed that antenna. So this is telling it, I can't remember what the W means, but it's on segment 1, and it's at the beginning of that segment. And so if you go here, the beginning of the segment is here, and that's what a little red dot indicates, is that's the feed point. So I'm feeding it at the little spot where it kind of pops out of the roof right there. So I'll feed it coming out of the attic. So the really cool thing about this is you can come here to your calculator and say, okay, on 20 meters, I'm running copper wire. It's a real ground. I haven't done any of this stuff. You can tell it what the dielectric constant is for it and what its conductivity is and all that fun stuff. And it'll give you a more accurate depiction. But, I mean, looking at this, it's not just the ground, right? It's the house that's under it. It's my patio. It's the metal. I mean, there's so much going on here that I don't think I could possibly get a good actual ground in there. So then we hit start. It runs a calculation. It says, okay, on 20 meters, I'm going to have, this is my impedance, and so I'll have a SWR of 11.5, which isn't terrible. I could tune that out pretty easily with my tuner and probably not lose a ton in my coax. I wouldn't want to run 100 watts on it, but the nice thing about this is I could just run a 4-to-1 balun and bring that down closer to 50 ohms, and I'd almost be on with this. So the really cool thing about this software, it doesn't just give you that information, but you can come here to your far field plots, and it'll tell you what your RF looks like coming out. So obviously not the best antenna for DX. It doesn't have a very low takeoff angle here. We're up at about, what is that? I don't even know, 30 degrees. Yeah, 30, 40 degrees for the maximum. And I'm not exactly sure what the orientation of the antenna is for this. This being the x-axis and the z-axis, I guess the y is coming at us, so I could figure it out. It looks like then, I guess, the z-axis is up and the x-axis and the y-axis. So it would be like this. So this is intended to be the south leg here. So if we were looking at it, I guess we would rotate this around. I don't know. We would rotate it around somehow. And if you've never seen a far-field plot, this is the elevation view. So looking at it from the bird's eye, this is how the RF would be coming off of the antenna. And then if you just took a slice right through the middle here, this is how it would look like looking at it from the side. Yeah, actually you'd slice it right here, I think, because the y-axis is looking at you straight on. So, but yeah, you can run this for all the bands and see just where you're at and what your SWR is going to be and all that good stuff, and then what the plot will look like. And as you go up on a bigger antenna in frequency, it gets spikier and spikier. But I think it's kind of fun. I wonder what that would look like here. Oh. I don't know what's going on here. I might have broken the matrix. Oops. Anyway, I'll probably cut it up here. I'll see how far or how fast the next thing goes. I don't want to completely destroy your day here. I've already gone on for 7 minutes. Instead, I'm just curious to see what 2 meters would look like on this antenna. Okay, yeah, this is like too long. I'll send you a picture of what this looks like later. Anyway, yeah, have a good night. If you want anything modeled, if you want me to do anything for any antenna you are thinking about building, let me know. We can either walk through it over the internet, or we can I can just do it for you and send you pictures, and you can kind of get an idea of what they're looking like. So I guess let's see. You see, spikier and spikier. I did not expect it to run that long, but I think if I have that, if I have a tuner up there and the 4-to-1 Balun, I think I could actually make this work. So anyway, have a good night, and I will talk to you later.